What is going down, sourdough and the spicy squad? We're back for another State of the Franchise episode. I'm Brad Graham. That is Jason Aponte. Jason, we got a lot of stuff to get into. We got roster moves, we got injuries, we got week one against the Bears. Oh boy, it's here. Let's get into it right after this. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see it. What is going down, Jason? Before we get into any of the news from today, how are you doing, my guy? How's everything going? You made it to week one. How are you feeling?
It's funny. I sat around my house, and you, as a family man, we were literally just discussing this. My house is quiet, and I even said a little too quiet. And sure enough, firing off right from the press conference, all of a sudden we get 49ers news. I understand my house doesn't correlate to that, but it was just a little too quiet. Things were going a little too well. Everything was all in place for too long, and it this is what happens now.
Absolutely. Everything was a little too smooth, but hey, as we know, in the world of 49ers content, we always got something to talk about, right? And today is absolutely no different. Obviously, we're going to talk about week one heading up with the Bears, a huge matchup. Justin Fields, you're starting to get some of the quotes out of the Bears camp, so we're starting to get fired up about that. But before we focus on the Bears, let's focus on the 49ers. We had Kyle Shanahan speak to the media today. He gave us team captains. We'll get into captains in a second. But one of those captains, George Kittle, apparently, I've heard it reported two ways. I'm seeing it more as a groin injury, apparently. That could potentially put George Kittle in doubt for week one. Not really sure. I imagine they're gonna push that all the way to the wire till they have to announce it. But man, like you said, it was going too good, and it looks like George Kittle is suffering with a little bit of a groin. What's your initial take on that?
Seen some conspiracy theories out there that are a little weird. I don't necessarily think that he's doing this on purpose or anything like that. I think
those type of conspiracies.
If he's hurt, he's hurt. If he's hurt, he's hurt, man. Like, and if
there's anything we know about Kittle, he will play no matter what.
And
you have to pull him off that field.
If you have concerns about Kittle, it's never about his play on the field. It's about his availability. Because let's just, be frank. Fortunately, he misses games during the year. So are you in the camp of, well, here he is getting injured again? Or are you in the camp of, it's week one? Take your time. Everybody should chill out, right? Like, let's get it out of the way now. Let's get it out of the way early on because we're going to need it down the stretch, big guy. So for me, I don't want to disrespect the Bears because I don't want to make this seem like it's nothing, because any team that would lose a top one or two player at any position on their team is going to feel it. But the 49ers can still take care of business against the Bears with their roster, even with George Kittle missing and Jimmy Ward missing. So while I'm telling you not to, I guess, downplay his injury, at the same time, it's just the opponent. It's just specific to the opponent, because if it was somebody else who was a playoff team, I wouldn't feel as good, even though I don't feel good. Nobody ever wants George Kittle to not play. But it's the Bears. Like, they're able to sustain themselves and be fine going forward and win this game. That's it.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate to hear. Obviously, hope George can get healthy before week one. And if he isn't available for week one, hopefully it's not a multi-week injury where we're getting George back for week two against, the home opener against Seattle. So that's the hope moving forward. So hopefully it's not anything too much of a concern. But of course, if you don't have George Kittle week one, it does kind of change the scheme and the way Kyle wants to run his offense, because we know he heavily relies on those tight ends at the end of the line of scrimmage for the outside zone and all the different types of things that they do, especially when they're pulling tight ends across the formation. Now, Ross Dwelly, Charlie Warner will be able to be up. I'm really proud of Ross. I really am. I thought Ross was potentially going to be on the chopping block. He did a really good job, at least from my opinion, proving me that he was up to the challenge to improve as a blocker. So I feel better about that. And of course, I already felt that way about Charlie Warner. But in some corresponding moves, the 49ers did cut Willie Snead, wide receiver from the practice squad. They brought back wide receiver Connor Weddington and added tight end Troy Fumagalli. Is that more kind of an indication that maybe George might be out this week, or what do you think?
Yeah, I don't think he's playing this week, if that's the case. I mean, it's Wednesday. You know what's funny about this week? Me being a fantasy football guy, I'm in tune with how injury practices and what happens works. It's Wednesday, my dudes. It's not a good sign. Not a good sign that he missed on a Wednesday. He's got Thursday and Friday, and we'll find out. And I'm sure George is going to do whatever it is to play, but this kind of snuck up on me. I'm kind of slacking in fantasy, right? Like there's those guys that are like, this guy was Chris Godwin was full today, and I was like, oh wait, what? Like he's gonna play week 1? Like I like this week kind of snuck up on me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, man.
Hey, it's week 1, Jason. We got
it
football,
is.
Baby.
Wake up, honey. It's week 1 and Wednesday, and on a Wednesday, George Kittle's not practicing.
Yeah.
So they signed someone else to the for the tight end spot. Yeah, that's not good. Those aren't good indications.
And they already had Tyler Kroft, so they already had 4 tight ends. That's now you're adding another one to the practice squad. Maybe Tyler Kroft gets called up. Tyler Kroft is someone that I have a lot of confidence in. I think you have some confidence in as well, at least for being a capable tight end, right? Like, especially with what he was able to do with the Jets the past 2 years. Speaking of fantasy, he had a 3rd-round draft pick that he would not allow on the field for the Jets that I just so desperately wanted. And it actually made me build respect for Kroft because I was like, come on, Chris Herndon, when are you going to get on the field? And Tyler Kroft was like, not today.
It's this year, Brad. We're Herndon. It's this year.
No,
man.
I gave up. I gave up on Herndon.
Just hold on. Hold on, man. He'll get signed somewhere. Hold on. It's not the breakout is coming.
The breakout. No, it's not coming. I gave up. That's never happening. Corey Soto says, can you elaborate on the Kittle intentional missing?
Oh, no, just Corey, it's
some Twitter.
Yeah, Corey. It's nothing more than people trying to make something about Jimmy Garoppolo and Kittle. No, trust me, it's nothing. Come on.
Yeah. So let's talk about the captains, though. We got 6 captains. We got Fred Warner. We got Eric Armstead, Nick Bosa, George Kittle, and Jimmy Ward. New to the list, Nick Bosa. What do you think about the 49ers naming 6 captains? We also heard from Kyle Shanahan that Trey Lance was 7th and Deebo Samuel was 8th. What did you think of the captains list up until this point?
Makes total sense. I mean, the longest tenured guys, the most impactful guys. I understand people have questions about why Trey Lance wouldn't be. Last year, the 49ers had 7 captains. This year, I think they only made it 6 this year. Mm-hmm. So it just happened to be that way. And yeah, I wouldn't look too far into why Trey Lance isn't a captain. I think this is perfect. I don't think there's anything that you can say about any of these 6 guys. I think they're the heartbeat of this team. And I think that I don't really think there's an argument for anyone else. I understand Deebo Samuel, right? I get that part. Yeah. But there's only 6. And to interchange him with who? Eric Armstead, who's been here much longer. It's just hard, right? Like, it's not a bad problem to have, but yeah, the 6, I have no issues with it. Eventually down the line, it'll become that when guys are here longer and longer. But yeah, this absolutely makes sense. I have no issues with the captains.
Yeah, and I think Eric Branch asked Trey Lance about what does it mean, not getting named the 6? And he's like, man, those guys are absolutely deserving. It's a goal of mine, and it's something I'm going to keep working towards. I would have personally loved to see Trey Lance be a captain just for the message that it sent, but also on the other side, understanding why it's just 6. So I'm perfectly fine with it too. And I think, it was really cool to see Bosa get on there because I don't think we look at Nick Bosa as like a vocal leader, but it does seem like Bosa has really earned just the respect amongst the entire locker room, and they know what Bosa is going to bring to the table this year. You also had Justin Fields already signaling to the local media, hey, we got a 5th round rookie left tackle. Don't come down his road when Nick Bosa whoops him I might be paraphrasing a little bit, but what do you think about Nick Bosa, Justin Fields kind of warning the media about what could be coming and what kind of season you could see getting kicked off for Nick Bosa against the Bears?
It shows that Justin Field is more reasonable and realistic about his team than Bears fans are. I'm speaking lowly because don't say the man's name. Please don't. I can't have him pop up on another one of these shows. If you say his name too many times, he will pop up. If you say the team that we are playing too many times, a bunch of people are going to pop up. You know what I forgot, Brad? I forgot during weeks when we're facing other teams, the opposition's fan base comes and they
They
troll.
lurk.
Lo, 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 lo.
They lurk in the chat and they just wait for a moment to pounce.
Hey, yo, I forgot, man. I thought that was only for the playoffs. I forgot. Stop, Brian. What are you doing? Like, what are we doing? But it just shows that Justin Fields is more reasonable and understands things. And again, sometimes the way that Justin Fields delivers things is abrasive a little bit sometimes. You know, the game is slow for me. Oh, okay. Well, the Bill said we're gonna knock your helmet off. Well, you know, my left tackle might struggle a little bit or whatever. He's not wrong. Maybe you could have said it a different way, but it's just the way he comes off. Like that's it. Maybe that's something that turned people off during the draft process and the way that he was matter of fact and deadpan like that. I don't know, you know, but that's just how he's been since he's been with the Bears. So I just think he's realistic, and I think that that's a good way to at least when things go wrong because Nick Bosa does it to everyone. He can say, "Hey, I told you guys." Like, what the hell, man? Like, lay off the guy. I told you. So that's all I'm gonna read into it.
Yeah, I mean, we were both at training camp. We saw Nick Bosa giving the work to Trent Williams, the best player damn near in the NFL. So it's like, hey, it happens. So I imagine a fifth round rookie, he's probably going to get the work too. But hey, just I'll even speak with Justin too. Be easy on the rookie left tackle for the Bears. It's going to be hard going against Nick Bosa, Samson Ebukam, Eric Armstead, whoever they kick out there. Hell, man, it's going to be quite the wild ride. But let's kind of transition into the actual kind of game that we have going. Screw all the other like ancillary storylines. Like we got a game going. So do
Ancillary,
you do
ancillary.
you
Say that again. Say that one more time.
ancillary?
Ooh, yo, hey man, I love the vocabulary. Keep it going. Are you
Yeah,
sure you're not
I'm
writing?
trying.
So you're not
I'm
writing
trying, man.
articles and stuff yet, man? I don't
No,
know,
hell
man.
no. Hell no. You already know me and words, they don't mix. Not even close. I already have a hard enough time trying to get them out on the mic. So when we look at the 49ers defense matched up against Justin Fields and that Bears offense, what is your kind of high level overview kind of perspective looking in? And what do you think the outcome is going to be on Sunday?
Look, the 49ers have a better roster. They coach better. I don't need to overthink this. And if it does rain, which it seems like it will, it won't be cold. That's one thing. So it'll be at least somewhat easier to grip the football. And just because it rains doesn't mean that the 49ers change what they were going to do. In fact, they'd probably lean into it a little bit more. And in that way, I put more trust in the coaching staff that I know more about, the roster that is better. That's the 49ers. And it's not because we analyze the Niners or we're fans of the team. It's just matter of fact stuff. Like that's it. Like if everything, obviously everything in football is not going to go the way that you think it will. Clearly, best laid plans of mice and men. I get all that. But at the end of the day, if the 49ers are who we think they are, they should take care of business on Sunday. And I think they will. And I think that it's going to be hard for the Bears to find a way outside of the 49ers playing their worst game of the season or like completely falling flat on their face on in all aspects of the game for them to win. So like when you think about that and you start to think, even with like let's just say George Kittle doesn't play, we know Jimmy Ward's not going to play. Even still, that roster and that coaching staff is still set and primed to be fine against them. Now, this was week 1 against the Denver Broncos in Denver. I tell you, I'd be a little bit more upset and a little bit more nervous. I promise you. It's just that this is the week that this is it. The Bears are there. And this is all happening. This kind of lines up perfectly. The 49ers can still win this game, get healthy for what's coming down the line, and still show that they're the team that we all think they're going to be going forward.
Absolutely. They're stacked with talent. And we already know that. And because the 49ers inside and out, and I know the Bears roster really well too, put yourself in the shoes of Jason. You're now the offensive coordinator. You've got Justin Fields as your quarterback one.
Ooh, do I?
You've got Darnell Mooney.
Okay.
How are you attacking this defense? Understanding you got a young left tackle, kind of a hodgepodge put together offensive line to begin with. Like it's already kind of all over the place. Is Alex Leatherwood going to get the start? I don't know. If he does, good for us. But put yourself in that position of like, how do you think, the Bears are going to attack the 49ers defense with that stout defensive line, the linebacking core, the cornerbacks? We know it sounds like George Odom. Now, Kyle Shanahan didn't commit to this, but it does sound like it's going to be George Odom and Talanoa Hufanga playing safety. If you had to put yourself in that position to be like, how do we attack this 49ers defense? What are some of the things that you would do in that situation? Or how could you conceptualize maybe how the Bears are going to attack the 49ers?
So I would, first off the bat, like a lot of people have this mind of that the Bears O-line is going to be turnstiles. They're not exactly great, but they're not as bad as people have like put out there. Like Warren Sharp put out that tweet with like all the pictures of the offensive line, and I'm like, that's a regular pocket, that's a draw play, that's a screen. Like those are designed to let guys through. So you would expect a little bit more of that. And this, like from the Seattle game, what I saw that Chicago was doing was they would leave Cole Kmet in max protect sometimes, but then he would get off his block at the last second and let Justin Fields, and let Justin Fields like zip that thing around somebody and gain yards, because now you've already got 6 engaged, probably heading up on blitzes, and then you've got the back end, and Kmet's going to at least get 7-8 yards. And then, obviously Justin Fields is going to get outside of the pocket on his own with his own legs as well, too, which I feel kind of makes him more dangerous than being in the pocket. Like I think the idea that the 49ers want to do in this game is to keep Justin Fields in the pocket, because if he gets out of the pocket, he's actually very accurate moving and throwing. Like it's
both left and right, too.
Right. Like one of the things we really liked about Justin Fields,
Right.
But yeah, it's more about being able to keep that pass rush at bay, with the pass rush at bay, with the with the screen passes, with the quick throws, with having those little outlets, and then timing your shots, which Justin's going to take with Mooney in the right situations. Can you get Mooney in the slot where you feel like he can slide off and maybe Fred carries him for a bit, but he gets up to Hufanga? You have to have enough time clearly for these routes to develop and things like that. But yeah, you would attack the things that you don't know, and that's the secondary and the safeties, right? Like Odom, yes, he has tape on it, and so does Hufanga, but they don't have a ton of it out there, right? So I would attack them. You're not going to attack the guys that Ward, Mosley, Fred, like any of those guys. Like what they're going to be able to do. So I would test them in that spot. The problem is, and this is where 49er fans should at least like exhale, it's just Mooney, right? Like and Kmet can get down the field a little bit, but like,
oh, Mooney's listening. He said, "Oh, it's just Mooney."
No, but I'm just saying it's only him. Like that's who you have to worry about. Like that's who.
So we're not getting a Dante Pettis revenge games.
We are not going to get a Byron Pringle 4 touchdown 7 catch game.
Come on, I want a Dante Pettis 2 touchdown.
We're not getting it. We're not getting an Equimanius St. Brown rebirth and breakout game. Like, again, I said this on Oh Hey There on Niners Nation, the greatest group of wide receiver 4s the world has ever seen. Like, literally every single wide receiver 4 from the NFC is now the number 2 for
Harry out there, but he's hurt. He can't even get on the damn, man.
I mean, look, man. Pettis will get out there and everything. A bear is a cat, right? Like Bear's part of the cat family. All right, so we're starting to like put it together. Like I don't know, man. I'm just trying to talk myself in. See, I'm trying to chill, Brad, because you asked me a question about like how do you attack the 49ers, and I like give you some generic stuff about like
part of the.
Are they cats? Are they cats? Or are they like what? Are we...
They're like a far cousin of. Oh my goodness, it all makes sense.
And Velus Jones is Debo Jr. Nah, man, he's too old. He's Debo Senior. Sorry, man. I'm having too much fun, man. Y'all Bears fans.
No, I saw Velus is older than Darnell Mooney. And I was
Velus is the oldest guy on that roster.
He's the rookie. Darnell's heading into year 3, and he's older than Mooney. I was like, oh my goodness.
Velus is already an elder statesman on the team, and has like he called a team meeting, and the man's been there for 2 days. because he walked in and he was like, "Hey man, we need to figure this out, man. Hey man, ain't you a rookie? Nah, man, don't talk to me like that."
Oh man, oh man, you call me OG around here. Dang,
All right, come
bro.
on, we got some good
All
jokes.
right,
There.
let's
That was
get
good.
back
That
on
was
the
good.
rails.
Yeah,
Let's get it
no,
back.
that was good. I'm
Professional
sorry.
football talk here coming in.
I'm
All
sorry.
right, that was great though. That was beautiful.
All
I
right,
love it.
Bears are closer to dogs than cats. Then yeah, that's not good. Then. Yeah, like that's
Bears,
even worse. Yeah.
that's even worse. So, do you think the 49ers defense, because of the lack of Jimmy Ward not being in there, do you think they run more press, or maybe not press, but more man opposed to zone? Just those simple concepts. Do you see, or do you still see D'Amico just using it per situation?
D'Amico will use it per situation if things come push to shove, but it'll probably just be zone because then either way, like if you can't keep Justin Fields in the pocket with contained, then there's a guy in zone that's at least there to limit the big runs. Like they're not going to be bailing. Like again, Velas is a speedster. Like we joke. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like because it's more because everyone when they saw Velas's age were like, well, this guy will never be good because he's this old
he's
bringing into the league.
already the oldest wide receiver in the league.
Right, exactly. And it's just like, come on, man. It's more a joke than anything when it comes to
Right.
that. But they can still run their zone and still limit things and blanket things. It's just again, Velas could have the opportunity to, try Hufanga if he's up single up or too high. They're running too high. It's gonna be the way that D'Amico calls it as the game goes on. But I expect them to be in a zone just to keep themselves in a good spot to try to stop Justin Fields from scrambling.
That makes sense. You could also kind of keep those cornerbacks kind of in the flat too. If he tries to get out and into the open field or play action boot, and they could kind of bum rush him if they wanted to. Let's see. Justin says, "Who will be the sack leader by the end of week 1?" I'm assuming this league wide or 49ers.
If it's Niners wide, then I'm gonna say both. No, Eric Armstead. I'm gonna be funny. I'm gonna be funny. I think
Ooh,
Eric Armstead is gonna come out and he's gonna rip.
spicy.
He's gonna be inside a little bit
They're
more.
gonna throw triple teams at Bosa. They're gonna
Mhm,
give Eric Armstead one-on-one
mhm.
with a bunch of nobodies, and he's just gonna
He's
swim
gonna
move
he gets to
straight to the
he gets
middle.
to be in zero tech against that center against some guards. It's gonna get ugly pretty quick, man.
I'm excited. Eric Armstead, Javon Kinlaw next to each other. Finally, we get to see it.
Oh
Feels
baby,
like it's been a long time
oh
coming.
baby,
But if I had to say who the sack leader is, I think it's going to be Nick Bosa. I think this is a perfect
pop
opportunity
out.
for. Oh no, I'm sticking strong to the prediction. I need Nick Bosa to come through with 3 sacks minimum against the Bears. We need to get the defensive player of the year talk starting week 1. So I want to see Nick Bosa come out and do what he did to the Minnesota Vikings in practice. I want to see that happen to that 5th round rookie at left tackle, because let's be honest, Christian Darrisaw with the Vikings, former first round draft pick, he's in his 2nd year, really promising left tackle, has a lot of really good traits. Nick Bosa put him in the blender a couple plays. So I imagine this 5th round rookie is going to have some big time. He's going to have nightmares heading into this game. So we'll see how he does. But I do think Nick Bosa comes away with hopefully a 3-sack game. Cash the God says, "What's up, spicy sourdough?" What's up, Cash the God? Appreciate you. We got another super chat. Appreciate everyone sending super chats. We got Michael Hamilton saying, "I respect all teams. Won't be a cakewalk. Unproven quarterback and O-line are serious concerns. Great team, but a lot of new moving parts will be in play.
Michael,
Go 49ers." And I think
Michael,
that's a great time to kind of segue into kind of the
hold
offense
on.
a little bit.
Michael,
What do you think about that?
Michael. To that comment, Michael. Talk your shit. Say whatever you want to say. Overlook the Bears. The 49ers won't. You can. You can, though. We not playing. We get to say whatever we want. We're not playing. The 49ers are going to take care of business. We can do all the talk. I like your humility. I respect all teams. Won't be a cakewalk. It is the NFL any given Sunday. But if this team is what we think it is, they should handle business. But yeah, man, Michael, let the Bears fans know sometimes. Like, y'all in trouble. Like it don't matter who's gonna be coming out of that tunnel. Sometimes like y'all are in trouble. Like you're just in trouble. So
See a
okay.
Bears fan?
No, What I'm saying
Oh,
is he's saying I respect all teams and it won't be a cakewalk, but you let him know. Like let them know. Like it's okay, man, to be, humble,
say it with your chest a little
say,
bit.
yeah. Let the ass know, man. Like, y'all ain't like that. This is week one. Y'all not like that. Y'all cooked. We got a better team than you. I am confident in my team. That's it. You can say whatever you want. The 49ers are going to handle business on the field.
I agree. I think the 49ers, I really do think the defense is going to do some work. And we both like Justin Fields quite a bit, but I do think Justin is going to be a little bit outmatched just by D'Amico Ryans. I imagine we're going to see a lot of disguises. I think we're going to see a lot of movement around the line of scrimmage, showing, maybe Aziz and Fred in the A gaps, and like maybe showing like 6 or 7 at the line of scrimmage, dropping out one side, overloading another. I think they're going to do everything they can to like trick Justin with just the way he's seeing it pre-snap, and then post-snap absolutely obliterating him and just making his mind move slower. That way the defensive line has an opportunity to absolutely just obliterate him. And you get that defensive line hunting Justin Fields, he's bound to just make a poor throw. Any quarterback, for that matter, doesn't matter who it is. You put a lot of pressure around these guys, especially interior, around the edges, bro. Justin, I like Justin a lot. He's a good kid, but the dogs are hunting. The
Yeah.
dogs are hunting.
And like you said, I think it's important to say that it's like nobody wants to be in 3rd and long. That's not usually where you want to be, especially against this pass rush. So yeah, it seems oversimplified, but it's not. Like that's really what they have to do. And that's, again, keeping him in the pocket, making him beat them from the pocket. If he's really made the advances that a lot of people, want to see, then you'll see at least some of it. I don't want to put it all on him because he is going up against the top 3 defense. Like again, that's contextualized. You know what's funny? Last year, his 2 best games, one was against the 49ers and the other was against the Steelers in Pittsburgh. It's like, dude, like 2 of the best defenses, you decided to like put up your best games, like some of your
That's
best.
Justin, though.
Yeah,
Like
I know, like
he.
bright lights, better
Oh yeah,
team.
put him
Yeah,
under
like
the pressure,
right.
dog him a little bit,
Yeah,
like talk a little shit. He's gonna be
yeah,
like, okay, all right.
yeah.
That's how he
So
rolls, right? That's what we saw
yeah,
that at Ohio State.
yeah, and that's what we liked about him. I thought that's one of the things that would have drew Kyle to him was, playing through injury. Like he had seen so many quarterbacks get injured over and over, and like Justin, like how like the injury he played through, and then like almost lifted that team to the natty is like, come on, man, like you got to give him his props for that.
Yeah, some may say he has that dog in him, but we're gonna find out when he's got a big old Bosa bear in his face. So we're gonna see how that works out. Oh, hopefully you got a promo code.
No,
Jason,
this
where'd you get
one,
that hat from?
no, this one I bought it. It's on prevail.com. Yes, the 49ers logo is upside down in the I think it's called
I thought
the
my eyes were tripping. I know my ADHD brain was like, I'm just seeing. I don't
it's
know what the
the
fuck.
Griswold font. But it's got this candlestick patch. Here, I'll show you guys. It's got
Oh,
this
shit.
candlestick patch that's like a little upside down for the last season as well, too. So yeah, Prevail's got it. It's a Los Angeles company. But yeah, they didn't cut the check. But yeah, you guys are asking, so yeah.
Free swag from Jason Aponte. You love to see it. Scott Hill says, "Hey Brad or Jason, who gets the first sack? Are you sticking with your prediction of who gets the most sacks? Who gets the first sack against the Bears? Because I think there's going to be a couple of them. Who
I think
gets
it's
number one?
think it's gonna be Eric Armstead. Like, welcome back, Eric Armstead, and this is his first game back. Like, like I could just hear the announcer saying it, and I think it's gonna be pretty quick actually.
I honestly don't think that's again. The same concept applies. Nick Bosa is going to get all the attention. He's going to get running backs chipping him, wide receivers, tight ends, plus the guys that are on him. They're going to be sliding protection to his side. They're going to make it as difficult as possible. That means the other guys are going to have one-on-one matchups, and they got to take advantage of those matchups. So Eric Armstead, you took Eric. You know what? I'll go against the grain. Javon Kinlaw coming out the gates, going to get number one. He's going to straight up pancake the offensive guard right in front of him, put him right on his back, and just swallow Justin Fields. So that's what I'm going to go with. Watch it be Nick Bosa though.
Yeah, I mean the clear answer is probably Nick Bosa, but I think Eric Armstead is going to show up. Like I can hear the announcers now. Hey, hasn't been there all training camp, and we forget about this 49ers defense that even though they're so hyped, they don't even have Eric Armstead. I mean, I don't know who that's gonna be. It sounds like the guy from Gilligan's Island, but he's probably gonna be calling the game on. Is it on Fox or CBS? I don't know. What the hell?
I don't know, man. I don't care, man.
I don't know. Who gives a shit,
Who
man?
cares? Who cares, man? I don't care, man. Jesus says Eric's gonna get the first sack. Darian says Kinlaw. Ricardo says Bosa. Kinlaw. Ooh, Drake Saxon,
I like it.
aka the rookie, is gonna get the first sack. That would be wild. I could see Ebukam, of course, as well. Again, Ebukam theoretically is gonna have that one-on-one matchup on the other side of wherever Nick Bosa is. I do see Samson being the first guy in those NASCAR packages when it comes to third down situations, get after the quarterback. And also, too, Samson's going to be there to clean up a lot of stuff. So, especially if you get interior pressure from Eric and Kinlaw, you get Justin Fields trying to bounce out of that pocket. There could be Samson right there to chase him down. So, all of these are very acceptable answers. And just like the wonderful chat that we have, it's on Fox, Jason. The game is on Fox.
The game's on getplayback.com, so you can join and watch us. Oh, so they're right there in the promo. Yeah, all right, sorry.
I like it. No, keep going, dog. Where else can you watch the game?
Getplayback.com. All you gotta do is pull up and you can join the room. It'll be me, Akash, Rich, and Vish, and we'll be calling the game as we see it with you guys. So yeah, if you don't want to hear whoever the announcer is, whoever my impression was, I think I saw Kylie say Mr. Magoo, something like that. Mr. Magoo's coming out of retirement to do the game on Fox. You don't want to listen to him, you can listen to us if you want to do that. So yeah. Mr. Magoo, Callie cooked me. He was like Mr. Magoo. I didn't even know what voice it was when I was doing it.
Straight up, Mr.
There it is. Yeah, look, cook my ass.
All right, let's talk a little bit of 49ers offense and Bears defense. Is there really anyone on that Bears defense that, I don't know, scares you is the right word, but causes you a little bit of, we got to worry about this guy a little bit.
Yes, obviously. And this is what the Bears fans have a problem with me about, is like, I can even praise your guys and tell you that you have good players and still you just can't like match up. But Robert Quinn's an all-pro. You guys forget that he still plays football. Like, he's still there. Roquan Smith is still a good player, man. They've got a pretty good secondary as well too. Eddie Jackson, right? Like they've got guys. So yeah, I mean, they have guys that concern you. And I think this is where the biggest concern for 49er fans comes in, because Robert Quinn plays on the line. What's this offensive line going to look like? Cohesiveness, right? And you can get away in certain games with your line not performing well. You won't get away with that against the top tier teams. And this team still has guys on the defensive line that can disrupt things for you. And that's going to be the ultimate test. I think the thing that we all know what the defense is going to be. The defense is going to be fine. I don't think anybody has any worries about that. Everybody is relatively healthy aside from Jimmy Ward. But the offensive line is kind of what everybody's looking to figure out either some semblance of normalcy, or at least to see extended reps more than anything. I mean, they haven't gotten reps in preseason and camp. It hasn't been the same 5 guys. What you're looking for as a 49er fan is this the starting lineup? How do they gel? How much do reps together help? And how much trouble are they really in? That's why I'm not jumping off the bridge when it comes to the offensive line stuff. Concerns are one thing. I just haven't seen this entire line that's supposed to be starting play together for extended reps with a game plan. I think that's another thing that,
huge.
Yeah. Like if Kyle feels like one guy is lacking in pass pro, or they're not going to be able to run the ball that way, they're not going to scheme it up for that to happen over and over. If something like that happens, it happens because the other team is doing something to stop what they want to do. So again, I need to see a game plan. I need to see all 5 offensive linemen. I need to see them for extended reps before I rush to judgment about what's going on with this offensive line. And we need to see what the health is like. How does McGlinchey bounce back? Trent's fine. But we need to figure out that inner O-line. Burford's had some good spots. I feel like we're very confident with him at right guard. But then Brendel, we haven't really gotten extended snaps. Banks, what's he going to look like with extended snaps? Will teams notice that, okay, this guy's not blocking well? We've got to send guys at him now. Like, we can get through on this side, like, depending on who it is. All of those things need to be answered, and I think those are all the biggest questions that 49er fans have right now.
I think the biggest thing that you said for the offensive line is the scheme part of it. Adding Kyle Shanahan's crazy mastermind of being able to manipulate defenses to put them in position that's favorable for the offensive line. I think back to week 11 against the Jaguars when you had Jalen Moore have to go in at right tackle when McGlinchey went down. If you watch that first half of that game, Kyle was scheming everything away from Jalen Moore's side and or manipulating it away where Jalen Moore isn't a primary blocker on the play. So he can absolutely help aid offensive linemen, and I imagine he's going to do just that. Mike, it sounds, Mike McGlinchey, it sounds like he will be playing this week against the Bears, which is absolutely huge. The 49ers need that because we've seen what happens when you get other tackles in there. When Trent and Mike are in, again, we watched it at training camp, man. You know how they were constantly rotating Mike McGlinchey and Trent Williams out. And when those guys weren't in, we're like, ooh, rough day for the offensive line. Rough day for the offensive line. Then you inserted those two, and I was like, oh, the offensive line looks a whole lot better today. Like, oh, look, we're getting protection today. Like, it just really, you have to have those guys on your bookend.
Coincided funny enough with Trey Lance playing well as well too during camp. Like,
right. He had protection. He could actually see a
the
read.
line blocked well, and Trey Lance performed.
And he wasn't getting sacked and just throwing the football as a result. So the offensive line is going to be a huge linchpin. And I think the fact that you're going to get Mike McGlinchey back, again, I don't think he's, if you ask him, he's good enough to go. He's played through injury for a long time in his career, especially this specific injury. Now, obviously, it's been reconstructed and kind of they went in and did the surgery and did all that kind of stuff. So we're going to see how he responds to it. I saw enough in training camp to feel comfortable in his technique and the weight and all those types of things. It's just how is he going to hold up physically? Hopefully everything's good there, and the guys on the interior will be able to do what they need to do, which is run the football, run block, get to linebackers, double to backer, all that kind of stuff. If they can do that, then you think of the weather. I don't know if you have any concerns. You heard that they just installed that new Bermuda bluegrass after all the comments about the field. So there's new field plus rain. Feels like a game that's going to be heavily run first. I don't know. What do you think?
Right up the 49ers alley. Just play into those strengths. I mean, that's it. I mean, now we were talking about it, right? I think that if there's a number to hit, it's 30 to 35 rushes. And if Kyle hits that number, that's game. It's game.
Yep. Wrap it up.
And then it's 18 to 25, 26 pass attempts. That's game. The 49ers walk away winning handily. Like, it's not even close. That means they were able to control the clock. They did what they wanted on defense. They were able to keep the ball away from you, sustain scoring drives, and not have to put the team in position where it's all on the quarterback's shoulders, which is essentially what they've been doing since 2019 or 2018 and that time. But, sure, let's just make sure that we say it and it's only for Trey Lance. Like, it hasn't been for literally every single quarterback here. Funny little thing. I wrote an article today, and it's out on Niners Nation, and it's about Kyle Shanahan and openers. And yeah, his teams tend to come out and they don't tend to score very many points, aside from last year, which was the first time Kyle ever scored 41 in an opener in any sort from OC or HC. But here's what's funny. RG3's best season, which was the rookie year in Washington, the Washington Redskins were the Washington football team. Excuse me. That's not a cool term. Washington football team was 26th in pass attempts, and RG3 won Offensive Rookie of the Year. Now, fast forward to Atlanta when he was the offensive coordinator. They were 26th in pass attempts and 3rd in passing yards, and Matt Ryan won an MVP. 2019, they were the 29th highest with pass attempts. 2021, 29th highest pass attempts. Everybody knows that when this offense is clicking, it's not to throw the ball more. It's because everything else is working. So if you want to run the ball, this is it. And I expect that number to even increase as they will limit the throws that Trey Lance has. Pretty funny. Kyle Shanahan breeds an offensive rookie of the year, right? For that 1 year. They go to the Super Bowl, whatever. You want to blame him. Cool. He had control of the defense too in that game, I guess, right? No, he didn't. And then 2019, right? And then 2021. Pretty funny that those are his 4 most successful seasons. Yet everyone is telling me about Kyle Shanahan wants to get back to airing it out and throwing it down the field. No, 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 no. It's because they were super efficient while they were doing it. They still took their shots. That's why Matt Ryan ended up 3rd in passing yards. It wasn't about passing attempts. It's about being efficient and hitting those throws down the field that Jimmy Garoppolo wouldn't take. Jimmy Garoppolo is going to get you 7. Trey Lance might get you 50 on any given play, like in that way. And I think that's really what you need to set your watch to. So if the Bears want to play that game, this is exactly what the 49ers want to do in every single way, man. So yeah, if it comes down to that, I'm fine with the 49ers doing it. But I just wanted to throw that out there for fans to understand the formula. Don't get ahead of yourself and don't expect things that he's never really done. Anytime historically that his team has had high passing attempts, his team has been bad. You know why? You're behind in games. You have to throw the ball to get back. When your team is winning games, you're controlling the clock, you're running the ball, you're able to do it, whatever it is that you want to do. That's where it needs to be. It doesn't need to be an increase in passing attempts. It just needs to be an increase in downfield attacking, which can still happen with decreased passing attempts.
That's great. That's great information. And good job digging that up, because I think that really speaks to the way Kyle schemes. He wants to run the football. Everything he does, he wants to run the football. The reason why the passing game is so successful is because it's predicated off the run game. You get the play action. We talk about it all the time. You hear Kittle talk about it. He'll say Kyle Shanahan will come up to me and be like, "This is a touchdown if you do your job right." Because it's based on how it's schemed, based on understanding what the defenses are going to do based on the look, and then coming basically behind it and taking advantage of the look that the defense is giving, because they're so worried about stopping the run, or they're so worried about getting to the edge to stop an outside zone, that when you run a play action boot and you run opposite direction across the field, basically against the grain, it opens up a whole section of the field. And that's what Kyle is doing. He is formulating this scheme to get these defenses to basically suck in one direction and then basically throw things right off the backside of that. So I think those numbers are fire, because it does speak to exactly what we hope to see, even with Trey Lance. I think a lot of us people get wrapped up in Trey Lance's big arm talent and they want to see him throwing it all over the field. It's still run first, but now you maybe get an element of maybe some zone read mixed in. Maybe you get a little bit more 11 on 11 football, where defensive ends or safeties are keying now on the quarterback as a runner because they have to. And then we see what Kyle works off of that. So I think those are the things that are going to be really exciting week 1, because I think we're finally going to see this offense. I don't think we can go back to that Texans game and be like, wow, that Kyle Shanahan offense that he schemed up really is vanilla, just as vanilla as could be, right? So we're going to see him hopefully unload the clip against the Bears.
Yeah, and some of the things that you see are the easy throws, the Jimmy gimmies, right? Like and it happened in the Packers game, it happened in the Texans game with the straight play action fake, and then you naked boot to the other side, and you've got a guy that has flowed the other way from the formation with you for an easy throw. Those are all going to be there, and those are all staples of the offense. So of course, there's going to be implementations that are different for Trey Lance, but it's going to be very much what you saw with Jimmy Garoppolo in terms of, throws for yak, throws that are easy, get your guy in rhythm, get your guy to get some throws completed. So, yeah, I'm not worried in that way. The only way that things can go bad is if the 49ers play out of character or if a bunch of turnovers happen. But if they're in control of the game, in the game situation, then I have no issues saying that the 49ers are going to win this game.
I agree. Just take care of the football. Everything else will fall into place. Even if you go 3-and-out, like, just don't turn the ball over. Don't give the Bears extra opportunities. Hey, man, you got the 4th round gem, Mitch Wish. Let him take advantage of field position and let the defense.
That was my surprise. That was my surprise MVP.
I'm gonna try to work it into the show somehow.
It's fine. That's my surprise MVP for the game. Somebody tried to say that yesterday to me. They were like, "Who's your surprise?" I was like, "Mitch Wishnowsky." I was like, 60-yard punts that are going to be down at the 1. That's it.
Hey, it's gonna be revenge for last year for, him having a baby, I think the night before and having to fly out to Chicago. It didn't take one punt. All he did was hold for Robbie Gould. But I am intrigued by this matchup. I think I downplayed the Bears secondary when I first looked at them, but when you look at their two safeties, led by Eddie Jackson, who's a really good safety in this league, but you get the rookie Jaquan Brisker out of Penn State, who has the potential to be a really solid pro. And then you get the rookie Kyler Gordon out of Washington, but you also get Jalen Johnson. Sneaky defensive backs. Little bit younger. Obviously, two of them are going to be unproven. Jalen Johnson, talking about Trey Lance, is going to have to prove himself to me. Obviously, he's going to have to prove himself to the rest of the league if he does want to be considered as one of the best young cornerbacks in the league. So those DBs quietly, they got some talent, a little bit young, inexperienced, but we're going to see Debo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Jawan Jennings. We're going to see what those guys bring to the table.
And Kyler Gordon is a really good pickup, man. That's somebody that was like in the draft that a lot of people slept on, and he kind of fell
Yeah.
right for them. Yeah, so that's
Mm-hmm.
that's a really good point when it comes to that. But with the way that these guys get the ball, right? The tunnel screen is something where they get it blocked up, they get guys out on the outside. This is where Kittle's athleticism, use checks athleticism comes out where they can run out, and help block at the second level for a tunnel screen. And they have willing blockers at the wide receiver position. You have to be a wide receiver who can block if you're going to play. So it's not necessarily like oh, well, they're going to get clamped by let's say it was Jair Alexander and like somebody else on the other side who they're not in that group, but it is going to be an interesting matchup. And I do think that Jalen Johnson saying that Trey has to prove something to him, I would tell him, chill out. He don't got to prove anything to you.
Slow down there,
Slow down,
Buckaroo.
slow down, youngster. Trey Lance has a lot to prove to a lot of people.
That's true.
You're pretty low on the list, buddy. Like get on the back of the bus here with this one.
So, although you did mention Robert Quinn earlier, Trent Williams absolutely dominated Robert
I saw
Quinn.
you posting those clips.
If you would have just showed me, that game last year of Robert Quinn, and you told me that guy was a first team All Pro and had, I think, 18 and a half sacks last year, I would have been like, whoa.
All Pro
Against who? Because Trent just dominant, like folded this man on multiple occasions. But again, I think that was also Trent Williams' probably
Trent
best
Williams,
game of the year.
Trent Williams does that to a lot of people. He makes
and I think it was his best game of the year. I don't know what it was. He was in his bag that game. And Robert Quinn, unfortunately, got a big piece of that. But so still got to give him credit. He is a good player. We know who Robert Quinn is. We've seen him from his time with the Rams, so we know him well. Roquan Smith. So it's still going to be a task. Like, I think when we take, a global step away, I think the 49ers, we feel confident as long as they don't come out flat with no energy and those types of things, which again, is all possible. But the hope is that with the energies there, they're able to get in rhythm offensively. I think we believe the defense is going to do its job. And if those things can all work together, it does feel like the 49ers are going to get out of here with a win week 1 against the Bears. Would you say pretty confidently?
Pretty confident. I think this team is tired of hitting each other. They want to hit somebody else. They've been fighting each other all damn camp. I think that they're like foaming at the mouth right now to get at this. So yeah, I'm again, it would take the 49ers playing their worst game of the season at the worst time in many stages of the game, and through through offense and defense and special teams. I just don't see that happening, man. Like, they're too well coached.
Yeah, and I don't even think Trey Lance needs to have a perfect game. Like, I don't think he has to come out and just light it up. Again, biggest thing with Trey is just take care of the football, right? Even if he's not hitting, if he's hitting about 60% of his passes, I think that will be enough for the 49ers to win games, because they may only need him to throw, 18, 22 times, somewhere within that range. If the run game is working, you got Elijah Mitchell going to be healthy. Jeff Wilson. Do we see Jordan Mason? I don't know. We're going to find out. But if they get that run game going, you just need Trey Lance to be able to manage the offense and get them in and out of their plays, and just don't turn over the football, right? And then everything from that point on should be good as gold, right?
Brad, cut that clip, and then every week when we do State of the Franchise, I'm gonna
We'll
say,
just
I'm gonna, I'm gonna say, what do you think about this game, and what are the keys to victory? We're just gonna place that, and then we can just like go take a walk and like go get some water, and then come back because, it sounds funny, right? Like it sounds funny, but yeah, that's literally how you win football games in this league, and especially when you are the better team, the better coach team, right? Like it is as simple as that. It may not be as simple as that when you're facing teams that have comparable rosters, comparable coaching, very good quarterbacks, and not that Justin Fields isn't a very good quarterback. He has the potential to be, and we all hope he will be. It's just, week one, we don't want to see those steps right now. But
yeah.
I mean, it's just, unfortunately, and people are gonna, get at me about this, but like the Bears are not an upper echelon team in the NFC. They're just not. Like I think we have a hierarchy that we understand, and those are the teams that it'll take a little bit more than those things that you were saying about protecting the ball and all those things that are paramount in winning games. But in this case, I think it's exactly what they need to do. All they have to do is just be themselves. Don't do anything crazy. Don't shoot themselves in the foot, and they'll be fine. Do not penalties. Do not, penalize yourself over and over and kill drives in that way, especially when you're trying to sustain drives with the kid. Like that I need you to come out disciplined. And from everything that I've gathered from Kyle Shanahan teams, especially as the 49ers head coach, they usually don't come out as disciplined. They usually have some sloppy penalties. Things are just not as fluent as it would be with many teams in week one.
So I would say we're both predicting a W, correct?
Yes,
Against
a dub.
Chicago.
Yes.
A dub.
Dub.
So
Dub.
we both think that we look at it. We've talked through it for about an hour. Dub. It's going to happen.
W.
So let's end
Lock
it
it
on this question from the coach.
Let's
legend.
go, coach.
Appreciate the super chat, my guy. He says, don't know if you guys touch on this, and we didn't, but what are your thoughts? I like how he calls him Pedro King. Calling for Trey to get the hook by week 7 after literally one practice. Nasty work. Media gonna be eating off our play all season for clout.
What got me mad was he mentioned Joe Burrow, and he said, yeah, it's not like they got themselves like Cincinnati got with Joe Burrow. You mean the consensus number 1 pick that everyone knew was going to start immediately? What? Man, like what
Just
goes
won
through
a natty?
What goes through your brain when you make these comparisons? And you know what gets me more upset? This is why it wouldn't get me upset if he was a nobody. It's Peter King. Yeah. I respect you too much. I think too highly of you to even make that strange comparison that has no correlation. Sure, you can say they were both taken in the top 3. I think everyone and their mama had things that they knew about the NFL draft. 1, Mac Jones was going to be the most NFL-ready starter. Check that one off the box. Number 2, Trey Lance was going to need work and needed some polish and was going to be a project in some aspects. Not an entire project, but in some ways, you knew he was going to need work. But all of a sudden, everyone's like, oh, I don't know, man. He doesn't have it when he hasn't even played. Literally, everybody knew 2 things. Mac was going to start, and Trey needed time. Now he's got his time, and we're not even going to let him play now before we make these sweeping statements. I expect more from you, Pedro King. That's what I'm going to call you from now on. Thanks, Coach. I appreciate you, man.
It just feels like, the kind of big 3. It feels like the big 3, at least around the 49ers, Coward, King, and Silver. Just
where does Florio Sting like up above everybody?
I don't
just
know
watching?
Where Florio is anymore. Yeah, he's just kind of floating around, like tweeting the most obscure things.
He's the Sting meme. He's like up in the rafters and he's just sitting there like looking while you mentioned everybody but Florio.
He's like 700 feet up to the left corner of the stadium, just like smoking.
I said some stuff about Jimmy Garoppolo too. Yeah, that's cool, Mike. Like, hang out over there.
So, like, I don't know. It just, it's an overload at this point. Like, I have quarterback fatigue, to be honest with you. Like, just absolute quarterback fatigue.
Is that arm fatigue?
It's worse than arm fatigue. It's quarterback fatigue. It's just, there's just so much, like, and it's all speculation, right? Because we got to see the kid play. Ultimately, at the end of all of this, everything that is being discussed it's just speculation. Because if he comes out, has a good week 1, good week 2, struggles here, maybe week 3, has some setbacks, what do you expect? It's his first year. Peyton Manning, a guy that I have a ton of respect for
Talk
out
to him.
of, more so than anyone in the media right now, just because it's Peyton Manning. He talked about, he was like, man, I led the league and broke records for interceptions as a
Yep.
rookie because our team was bad. And what else do you expect? And he's like, I was talking to Eli about this. Eli said he learned more in his first 6 games starting opposed to the first 10 sitting behind Kurt Warner. He said there's nothing comparable from actually getting out on the field, seeing the game speed, watching the safeties, how they bait you, what they're going to do, and learning that way. Yeah, you can learn from sitting behind another quarterback, but you're going to learn the most actually doing it. So it's just wild, man. It's just the constant talk about it, and I get it. It's a San Francisco 49ers quarterback. It's a content machine, so I get it. I get it from that standpoint, but also too, I like to listen to the guys like Steve Young and Peyton Manning who've been there, they've done it, they can speak from experience. And listening to Peyton Manning talk about it today made me feel a lot better because I'm not gonna lie, I just feel like you know me, I'm trying to listen to everything, and I'm like, man, I just feel like I'm being bombarded at this point. But Peyton, just like the way he talked about it, I was like, man, I feel a lot better about the way he's discussing this topic.
You should do what I do. I just completely like turn off Twitter and just like put my phone away. Like I've been
I'm
taking.
jealous of you, man. I wish
Yeah,
I
I
could.
mean, no, but you're a machine. You got things going on. I get it, man. But yeah, I completely like today's the only day that I'm really saying anything, and it's only because Albright went on 95.7 the game morning
Oh, he was
roast.
cooking.
Shout out to Bonsa and shout out to Shasky. That man was in his bag. He was cooking everybody. Like that man woke up with spice on the mind, man. Like I loved it, man. I loved every minute of it. Called Mike Gold. He was like, it would be Mike Silver because he's always coming in second. I'm like, damn, you had that in the tuck.
Oh,
Like,
I didn't hear that one.
yeah, he didn't come up with that like right there on the spot. Like he came up with that in his room, chilling by himself. Like, oh, I'm gonna call him Mike Gold, or Mike Silver because he comes and he unleashed that on 95.7. Man, he was cooking. He was just talking about people that were upset that they've been wrong the entire time. Revisionist history when it comes to like the whole Mac stuff. And Ben was just pounding his chest on 95.7. Man, it was so good, man. I implore you to listen to that.
Yeah, I saw the clip and I was like, oh, he's cooking on that clip. But yeah, it sounds like he went full in on all these guys. So that's something to see. Chris Royal, appreciate the super chat. He says, all this talk is going to make the final results much, much sweeter. Trey area, baby. Let's end it on this last question that we got from Justin. I'll start with you, Jason. Total rushing yards for the game against the Bears. Who will be the rushing leader?
800 yards rushing and 799 will be from Trey Lance. No, I'm just kidding. No, total rushing yards for the game, probably put it at about 135. And I would say that that's what you were gonna say. Ooh,
no, it's just a good one.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, 135, and I've got Elijah Mitchell still, at least in this game, leading them in rushing. That feels like a cop-out. But yeah, 135 and Elijah Mitchell is what I'll say.
Okay, since I think Jason hit it right on the head. I think 135 is a perfect
They get to
benchmark.
135, they win by 17 points.
But you know what? I'm gonna do one better. 136. I'm gonna go 130.
I got prices right on my own show, bro. Oh my goodness.
Price is right. You already know the vibes. We're going 136. And I'm gonna go obscure, even more obscure. Deebo Samuel's going to be the leading rusher.
Man.
They're gonna unleash their high-priced Ferrari wideback. And hey, but I think I would actually go with Jason's.
Man, no, that 136
Elijah
is genius.
and 135. I think that's the one. But I have to go the opposite direction. So I'm going Deebo 136.
I think a lot of people have it in their mind like games that their team has like run people over. I think when you go back and you look, like really good running games are like 130, like 140. Like it's like you very rarely are you going to be putting up like 170, 180 on guys unless that team is just getting steamrolled. By the way, the 49ers only allowed a 100-yard rushing team 4 times, which was 5th best in the league last year. It's a little nugget for you guys. Thank you, NFL Communications, for hooking me up.
Nice
with that
nugget.
one.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you guys for tapping in for this week's episode of State of the Franchise. It's officially week 1. We're talking football. Still a little bit of speculation sprinkled in, but at the end of the day, it is football time. So definitely excited about it. Obviously, the mood is tense here as we head into
quarterback watch. All right. Real quick before we dip, I know you just did a good exit, but over under how many times they pan to Jimmy Garoppolo when there's an incomplete pass from Trey Lance?
It's so like if he's 60% passing, like God, it's gonna be 7 to 8. I'm gonna smash the over at 8.
Okay.
If it's like that.
Do we play a drinking game where we take a drink every time they pan to Jimmy? And how quickly will you black out in the first quarter?
Bro, you'll be smashed. Ponte's gonna be freaking on the post game.
On the post game, like, they're gonna be like, yo, did you even watch the game? No.
He's gonna be like, Christ, man. Like, what are we doing here, man? Why are they panning to him so much, man?
But the team won. Did they? Ugh.
I don't know, dude. It might be 8 times in the first quarter. I might be selling it super short. Like it. You already know how it is. They're going to be drumming it up. Who knows? It's going to be something to watch,
guys,
though.
Please don't play that game. Be responsible. We need you guys to pull back up to our chats and everything, and we need you to be safe for your families. Please do not partake.
We need you guys to come back and engage in the chat on the post game. Please do not don't play that game. You're not going to make it. It's going to end well for all of you. But that's it for us today. Appreciate you guys. Week 1 coming in. We got the Bears. Let's go. Appreciate you, Jason. I'll see you on the other side. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to